Christians read the Bible, and specifically the book of Revelations, as an ominous doomsday prophecy whereby humanity's highest virtue and the only answer to evil is waiting around until a half-god, half-man literally floats down from the clouds to save them and the world. They believe the devil will bring hell on earth for 7 years of great tribulation with literal tortures worse than any horror movie, and that it is inevitable. But if they simply believe in Jesus, have a priest dunk their heads underwater, and or say a prayer accepting Christ into their hearts, that these acts are sufficient enough in the eyes of God for them to be timely teleported up to heaven with the other literalist Christians and spared the horrific tortures destined for all non-believers. If read with understanding of the spiritual symbology, numerology, and allegories purposely encoded, however, the true, deeper meaning of Revelations is revealed. Once again, the author is imploring for humanity to awaken Kundalini and their 7 chakras, to renounce vices and develop virtues, to disassociate with their lower carnal ego desires in order to access a higher level of spiritual consciousness. Revelations 1:20 states that the mystery of the 7 stars, which thou saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which thou saw are the 7 churches. The meaning of the 7 churches and 7 candlesticks certainly remains a mystery for those unaware of Kundalini Yoga and the chakra system. But for anyone acquainted with this ancient symbolism, the only mystery is why the masses continue to misinterpret these scriptures as literal doomsday prophecies. Revelations 4:5 reads, "And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God." This is another clear description of the fiery electrical force of Kundalini rising through the 7 chakras, for those with ears to hear and eyes to see. Revelations 5:1 and 2 reads, "And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof?" This is a call to action for any who wish to be truly free and saved from the addictions of the lower mind and egoistic desires. The angel with a loud voice is your higher self, calling you to look within and on the backside, and to loose the 7 seals. For as long as Kundalini remains asleep and dormant, coiled around the root chakra, humanity is doomed to subsisting in a carnal, chaotic, materialistic condition. The chakras are referred to as seals, which require loosening, because in humanity's current condition, we are not born with fully open and active chakras. Instead, we are born with original sin and 7 seals, and only by awakening Kundalini to clean out the emotional baggage and mental blockages from our collective unconscious can we rise above the fallen state. Only by renouncing and repenting from vices, addictions, and materialistic desires can the ego dissolve and break the 7 seals. Revelations is imploring the reader to take responsibility for our spiritual growth, and not to simply wait for Satan to bring hell in a handbasket. The great and terrible day of the Lord, promised in Revelations, that literalist Christians are so simultaneously dreading and welcoming, both scared and excited for, must be the most grossly misunderstood allegory in the Bible. The 7 years of trials and tribulations are not some fatalistic prophecy of humanity's ultimate demise, but rather an epic allegory of the death throes of the ego and the lower carnal mind upon opening the 7 seals. Likewise, the great and terrible day of the Lord is nothing but the final dissolution of the ego and the death of one's lower self. According to ancient esoteric thought, each chakra contains spiritual life lessons, and as Kundalini rises, certain trials and tribulations are inevitable. But by inviting and transcending them, we successfully raise our consciousness to progressively more enlightened states. This is the true rapture and second coming, the real baptism of being born again, the awakening of Kundalini by purifying your temple to house Christ consciousness within. Genesis is about the generation of the higher self, a metaphorical manual for spiritual development, and Revelations is only a death sentence for the lower self, an epic obituary for the ego.